Episode of Gaytriarchs.
That sounds like a sexual thing. Do you think?
What, eating a Belgian waffle?
Yeah, I don't know. It just you just said
what
it
kind
in
of
a way.
sex are you having, Gavin?
Sweet sex.
And this is Gaytriarchs. Gavin, you are my mentor when it comes to older children. So I have a question for you.
I'm here for it.
Does teenager attitude start at 6?
I think, joking aside, I think for us it was 3, actually.
Okay, because my child turned 6 last month.
Uh-huh.
And on a fucking dime, he went from like cutesy, like fun, let's play games, to like eye rolls on like, but like on stuff that I do day to day that makes him laugh. He's like humiliated. Today we were walking to school and I was holding his hand, and I started like humming the K-pop Demon Hunter song because he loves it and we love it.
Yeah.
And he yanked my hand. He goes, "Stop it!" And he's like looking around at all the other kids. I was like, "Bitch! First of all, I'm the coolest motherfucker on this property.
Of anybody here, yes.
I was in one Broadway show one time." But also, there's just like last night, he was like screaming. He's like, "I don't even like you." Like, it was like, wait, this happens at 14, not at 6.
No, it's tweenhood, man. Tweenhood. I forget. Do you allow him on social media? Is he seeing how other people live their lives yet?
No,
okay,
he has an Instagram handle, but it's like a private account that we run, and we just post pictures of him. But he doesn't go on social media. He gets
Does
like
he watch
30 minutes
YouTube videos of other kids behaving badly?
He does. He gets 30 minutes of iPad time if he wants a night, and he will usually watch some sort of terrible kids running around doing like bad YouTube content.
Well, I don't know if that's the gateway drug, but I feel like it's just so much about watching other kids, and these kids who are then influencers, because that's what he's watching is bad YouTube content. But he is watching other kids, emulating other kids, and also very profoundly, I would say, is seeing like, oh, I want to live like those people, and then he's see, this is why I talk about gratitude all the time. I mean, it's so insidious. The sense of like, you're embarrassing me because you're not acting like the parents that I see in a YouTube video, for instance, or I want to live like them. And all of those people live fabulous lives that they put on YouTube. So I don't know. It's a great gateway drug, slippery slope, et cetera, et cetera. And you're going to embarrass him forever.
What I mostly hate about all of this is that all the bullshit that I hear older parents say that we're like, God, stop it. Like, would you stop saying that? Or I'll figure it out. Is happening. Yep. And what it is the hard part of the younger ones has just been the baton was just passed to now. No, he doesn't do that anymore. Doesn't run into the street, but he does roll his eyes at you in Target. And you're like, wait, you're 6.
Yeah.
You're a baby still.
You're not, one, I'm hurt because you shouldn't be thinking that I'm not cool anymore. And 2, don't act like that. Don't be a dick.
Where did you? Yeah, no, totally. So I have a
the sense of entitlement. The sense of entitlement and the eye rolls and the I'm better than you and you're so dumb. It doesn't.
Hey, how about this, Gavin? If I'm so dumb, how come I can piss into a toilet every time and he pisses in the general vicinity of the toilet? I have to stand over him sometimes and say, look at your penis, point it at the hole in the ground. That is how we pee in this world. And he's like, okay. Like he acts like I'm being a dick. He's like, okay, fine. I'm like, you are literally pissing directly on the toilet paper roll. What are you like?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
This is so relatable. But you know what? I think that our remedy for that is, and not that it's effective, but it is not being hypocritical in the sense of trying to put our, actions where our beliefs are. But this is where you start to say, oh, well, if you're going to do that, then your chore is cleaning up around the toilet. And yes, you have to reach around to that trap, that thing where the yellow crusty lake of piss goes. Yes, you need to get down on your hands and knees and wipe that away, buddy. And in theory, it's kind of like, it goes also with kids who poop their pants, which, hey, no judgment. I think they do it for a very long time and it's no biggie, but and they shouldn't be shamed, but it is something, you're going to kind of like grow out of. And so if it gets bad enough, I mean, I had to have my kids clean their own underwear. I mean, not do the laundry, but like be like, no, you're going to be the one to take this and kind of like scrape it into the toilet and wash it out in the sink. And
I'm just I know it's too high level for me. I'm just going to piss on their pillow. I'm just going to, every time he pisses on the toilet paper, I'm going to piss on his bed pillow and make him sleep in it.
And shit on their shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can figure it out.
Because I'm really mentally there. But speaking of being mentally there,
please.
My therapist broke up with me yesterday.
David,
so
do you need a moment?
No, it's actually way less insidious than what I just said. He got this really great fancy new job, and he has to get rid of all of his adult clients, and he's only keeping his family or kid clients. But it's very funny because he went to this long-winded.
He's literally leaving you for younger
correct.
beings.
Correct, okay. But the reason I bring it up is he told me. He was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe I'll find another therapist. He's like, honestly, David, and I'm not allowed to say this, I don't think you need therapy.
You have a podcast instead.
I won therapy.
You won therapy. I agree with you.
I graduated from therapy.
Yeah.
I got my sticker chart filled. He said, my therapist said I don't need therapy. I am the most mentally stable person on the planet, is what that means.
But are you still left with a little part of you feeling empty because he didn't tell you that you were his favorite?
It was implicit in him saying that I am his favorite, and that the real reason he's breaking up with me is because he's fallen in love with me. And he can't have that sort of relationship with his clients. So he's doing this because the love for me is taking over his entire life.
Hey, dear listener out there, which I am sure finally now I realize is David's therapist because he was just going above and beyond. I would love for you to come on the show now that you've broken up. You're not, breaking any HIPAA laws. So please come on and talk shit about David to me. It'll just be you and me, buddy, out there. So
you guys can do like a private episode where I don't even know, and you release it in the middle of the night.
Yes.
And I just all of a sudden see on my feed, like, what fucking episode is this? You're like, yeah, I got your therapist drunk and high, and I made him talk shit about you.
And he showed me his abs. All right. So, do we have a dad hack of the week? No.
Nope.
Do we have a DILF of the week?
No.
Use your imagination. But what we do have this week, a top 3
disappointment.
list.
Oh.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
Is this your week? Yeah,
this
you
is
chose.
My week.
Yeah,
I wanted to hear your top 3 jokes. Now, I realize that this could go many different directions, many different levels of offense, and frankly, many different levels of length of time. Right. So I'm going to give you three top 3 jokes that I felt comfortable saying here on the air.
Yep.
And I'm going to try to blaze through as fast as I can because only one of them is a like one-liner, one-liner. Number 3, what do you call a fake dad?
What?
A faux pas.
Okay.
Number 2, inappropriate. Trigger warning, inappropriate. A priest, a minister, and a rabbi are all on a life raft with 3 of their kids, just with them. They fell out of a plane or off a boat or something like that. They're all in dire straits and barely going to be able to survive, right? And the rabbi says, "Oh, but we're going to have to make a sacrifice here. But I mean, it can't be the children. We have to save the children. We're going to have to sacrifice ourselves." And the minister says, "Screw the kids." And the priest says, "Do you think we have time?" And finally, a woman was living with her father. They were, up there in years, and they were just trying to get by. It was a very hard time in life, and you do what you can do to survive. And so finally, the woman decides, well, I'm going to go out and start prostituting. I'm gonna sleep around. It's a new era. Who cares? I'm actually getting some pleasure out of it too. And in the meantime, we'll be able to meet all of our financial expenses. So she goes out, she comes back, she goes out, she comes back, she comes out, she goes out, she comes back. She's not really reporting back to dad, but finally dad says, "Daughter, how are you feeling about this?" She says, "I'm actually kind of feeling empowered by it. It's fine. It's fine." He says, "Well, are you enjoying yourself?" And she said, "Well, sometimes I am. I mean, some of the men are happy and sometimes we don't even really do anything, but just kind of talk about our feelings. It's kind of sad. They just like cry on my shoulder and everything. And he says, but they're still paying you, right? And she said, oh, of course. I mean, that's why I'm doing this. This is, world's oldest profession. I am getting paid. And he says, well, about how much did you make? And she said, well, about, most recently about $43.10. He goes, who paid you 10 cents? And she said, all of them. You're welcome. You already knew it. Fine. But
I already knew it. But also, as you were telling me the first one, I was like, we've done this top 3 before. But
we have?
I think we have. But last week was a repeat. This week is a repeat. We're doing repeats, guys. This is really fucking hard to do this podcast. So you guys fucking deal with it.
All right, let's hear 3 jokes, David.
All right, number 3 for me. Gavin, what do you call a black psychologist who makes $200,000 a year? Doctor, you racist. Number 2. A man is at the bar and he is really, really fucking drunk and he just pukes all over the front of his shirt. And he goes, oh no, my wife is going to kill me. I'm not supposed to be drinking. I don't know what to do. So the guy next to him says, here. He slides him $10. He says, listen, bring this to your wife and say, hey, some guy at the bar threw up on my shirt and he gave me these $10 to do the dry cleaning. And he's like, oh, great idea. So he goes home and he walks into his wife and his wife sees him. She goes, what is that shirt? What is going on? And he goes, oh, a guy threw up on my shirt at the bar and he gave me $10. And he pulls out a $20 bill. She goes, well, that's $20. And he said, oh, well, he shit in my pants too. Oh. And number 1, a man goes to his doctor for his yearly physical. And the doctor says to him, you have to stop masturbating. And the guy says, why? And the doctor says, because I'm trying to examine you. And that is my top 3 jokes that I can say on this podcast. Next
questionable
week,
at that.
Yes.
What is next week?
Next week. Now, it is not officially October yet. I know.
And it's definitely not Christmas. Do I need to remind you of that?
Correct. But we are approaching spooky season. So I want to start thinking about spooky stuff. So, Gavin, next week, I want you to rank what are your top 3 witches?
Okay. Nice. All right. Today's guest is too smart for us. I mean, he's too witty for us. He's too well-dressed for us and basically just too good for us. How good is he? He's a minister, not just any minister. He's a Yale-trained, worldly-minded, often controversial, fervently just, endlessly activisty, Bob Dylan-obsessed, endlessly curious, tremendously foul-mouthed, and indefatigably, yes, go ahead and look it up, David, devoted to queer rights. Also, he's my minister. So welcome to the show, Reverend Steve Jungkeit.
Oh, thank you for having me. What an introduction, man. How do I live up to that?
Well, you sent your bio over and it was way too academic for us. David wouldn't have understood any of the words on it. So
no, I'm literally Googling every single word he just wrote. I have no idea what he just said.
So Steve, first and foremost, as always, how have your kids driven you bananas just today?
Well, just today, all right, here's what I got. We live literally a block away from our schools, a block away. And every single fucking day, I have to drive them to school. Drive them.
I saw you in the drop-off line the other day, and I was like, I wonder if he does that every day.
Wait, why?
Because they want to sleep in just 2 minutes longer, or they want to linger over breakfast 2 minutes longer. But my sorry ass has to get out of bed every day to get them to school. And I sit in that, it's like this long traffic line. Gavin, you know it well.
It's the longest drive-through line of your imagination, and you get no French fries.
And you get no French fries, exactly.
No.
There's no Frosty at the end of this line.
No, it is the occasion for existential despair for me. I sit in this line and I'm like, I will be doing this if all goes well every day for the next 12 years. This is awful. Anyway, this is in a way, I love my kids, but this is one of the ways they drive me crazy every day. And then can I add one more thing?
Please.
Because we live close to the school, they're like, Oh, Dad, I forgot this paper. Can you bring it down to me? Because you don't do anything. You're a minister. I'm just hanging around. I'm just hanging around waiting for their call.
You're merely our servant. So
totally,
thank you.
You're just staring at the wall, contemplating life, and waiting for frantic text for them to bring that paper.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I do. That's what I do with my day. Yeah.
So you have 3 kids. What are their general interests?
General interests. So 3 kids. Our oldest is in college. Sabina. She is super interested in music, in dance, in theater. So,
No, tell her no. Tell her not at all. Tell her to not follow her dreams and just ignore them. Yeah,
absolutely.
I want her to have a conversation with the two of you, an open, frank conversation. I'm a supportive parent, but that's what she loves. That's what she does. She's doing vocal performance. Our daughter Elsa is in high school. She loves dance. Dance is her jam. And I spend a lot of every single evening driving her around to dance classes. And our youngest, Augie, is in 8th grade. Soccer is his thing. So
so Elsa, the question we're all thinking, is it because of the Frozen movies?
Oh, no, she's older. She's 5 years older than the Frozen movies.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So the Frozen movies,
you were the inspiration for the movie.
Yeah, that's what we think. That's what he thinks.
David, I cannot help but point out to this, and this is one of those times where I'm like, I really know our guest quite well. Elsa played Elsa in Frozen Junior or Disney Frozen Junior or whatever it's called a few years ago, and of course she was actually amazing. But
that's got to be really confusing for the playbill. You're like, Elsa is Elsa. What's her name?
Super
There's a typo here. There's a typo here. So just before you came on, Steve, I was actually saying to David, do you feel like I should make a disclaimer about Steve coming on because we're talking about, frankly, religion? But then why do I need to make a disclaimer over something like that? Do I need to apologize? Wait, I shouldn't be apologizing, but wait, what? And I went on my own spiral, which was David was like, Gavin, I should have just hit record because
it's a daily
what you
thing,
do.
By the way, Steve, it is not just you. It is before we do anything. He spirals out of control and then we hit record.
Listen, and I believe this. I know Gavin. And so, yeah.
I definitely spiraled, but it's funny where I'm kind of like, do I need to make a disclaimer? No, that would be bullshit. Why would I have to make a disclaimer about whatever? And then David started to say, but Gavin, do you believe in God? And I'm like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have this conversation 3 minutes before we start recording. Yeah. But I will say, I have been convincing David for months now, if not years, to have you come on. And not that it was a hard sell, which isn't to say that we'll basically take anybody on the show. But David was like, why would we? What?
I was just going to say, you guys are scraping the bottom of the barrel right now, man. You are
totally.
Yeah. He's just inviting everyone in the car line, basically, to be a guest on the show.
All your listeners right now are going like, "Holy shit, Gavin goes to church."
Yeah. Well, yeah. Trust me, it was a shock to me too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I was able to say to him, but listen, I think there is so much to be said about community and knowing that there is something out there, or trying to connect with something out there that's just bigger than yourself, that rather than your own selfish focus, and more than, may I say, biblical studies. That's why we are there and why I force my kids there. So that's my disclaimer, knowing that we will come back to more of what you have to say. But I am curious, what is the best and the worst thing about being a pastor?
I know the worst thing is having Gavin in your building.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No, it's one of the best things, actually. Well, first of all, let me say I appreciate your disclaimer, because in a way it's a disclaimer I have to make all the time, which leads right into one of the worst things about being a minister, which is you get placed in this really tiny, claustrophobic box. There are assumptions made about what you believe, what kind of lifestyle you lead, how you raise your family, and by and large, some of it, I don't know, maybe some of it's true, but I like to think that a lot of it's totally not true. So I guess I hate the narrow, constricted box that I feel like I get placed in as a minister. I guess I feel like my world, my life, my brain is bigger than often what I'm allowed to be in people's imaginations. One of the best things is the fact that I get Look, I love going to the library. I love being in books. I like studying. I like writing. I get to be with people, and I like hanging out with people. And I get to hang out with all kinds of people in some really intimate moments sometimes. And to me, that's a beautiful, beautiful gift. Just before I came on today, a friend, also a former congregant, called, and she had just received the ashes of her husband, or was about to receive the ashes of her husband in the mail, and was kind of undone by it unexpectedly. I mean, this happened 2 years ago. And I was the person that she called, or one of the people that she called. And my God, what a, I don't know, what a gift that is. That's a privilege. So that's one of the things I love. It's one of the things I love.
Gavin, I think a better way to say what you kind of bumbled through earlier about your intro is you had said that was more interesting. You're like, I don't, my disclaimers, because I don't want to be one of those. I don't want people to think, all of our listener to think, oh no, I'm one of those. I go to church, so I'm one of those. I think that's more interesting for you to expand on. What does that mean? One of those? We're interviewing Gavin now. Steve, you're now the co-host with me, and we're going to interview Gavin.
But this is exactly the question that's on the table, I think. For me, for Gavin, for all of us. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I feel like I didn't have a bad religious upbringing. I mean, I just kind of just went to church because that's what we did. I was Methodist. There wasn't any fire and brimstone. There wasn't, frankly, judgment. I believe we had a closeted lesbian, although maybe she wasn't closeted. I don't know, who was our pastor back in the 80s. And I mean, people kind of whisper. I remember people kind of whispering about it, but it wasn't in a get that lesbian out of here. It was kind of just like, is she or isn't she? But nobody really cared. So, I guess it was really a liberal upbringing. So I don't have any knee-jerk reaction to religion, except that I grew up in Colorado in the 90s when there was Focus on the Family in Colorado Springs. We had Amendment 2, which was an anti-gay thing that all of the mega churches from Colorado Springs rallied around. And I feel like I grew up at that time of mega churches growing and exploding in the 90s. And I'm just not I'm not a mega church kind of person because it just seems so literal and judgmental and superficial and all those. So I want people to know that I'm not one of those people who just drinks the Kool-Aid because the Kool-Aid is served instead of wine at communion.
But Gavin, that's the core of Gaytriarchs is superficiality, being judgmental, and being hypocrites.
You set me up for that.
Core. That was the core of the podcast. I did. Listen, I'm a journalist, Gavin. I'm not just a podcast host. I'm a journalist.
Steve, I do have two house cleaning questions before getting into a teeny more profundity with you, even though I was the one who just pontificated and you probably have some thoughts about that. But real quick, what is the difference between the terms pastor, minister, or reverend?
Priest. There's a lot of them, right?
Yeah. I mean, they all basically designate the same thing, and it's kind of a matter of personal taste and
regionalisms
and traditions. I recoil in most of them. I prefer to just be Steve. In our particular church, we use the language of minister, but I don't know. I would totally recoil if somebody started calling me Pastor Steve or something like that. It would just go like, oh shit.
I feel like a pastor makes me think of like wood walls and like the 1970s. It feels like a very 1970s word.
Yeah,
wood paneling.
Yeah, wood paneling and like orange carpets.
Yeah, and like Gavin, I come out of evangelicalism, and I have some wounds and some also frustrations and irritations about it. So yeah, getting called Pastor Steve or something like that.
Got it.
Just weird. It just raises all kinds of stuff for me, and I'm like, no, God.
I always wondered if there was a difference there. But then one more house cleaning.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Bible verse or passage or story?
Oh, geez. See, you make me sound like an evangelical asking.
Oh, I know. Well, I wanted to get it out of the way, and then we can move on to the less evangelical stuff.
No, yeah. Initially, I was like, "What?" I mean, I'm a liberal Protestant. We don't read the Bible. I mean, come on.
Nice.
But that's not true. That's actually not true at all. Here would be what I would say. I like the one that has been on my mind is the story of the burning bush in Exodus. It's this story where Moses encounters the divine in in a living organism, in a plant, and somehow this plant is flaming, and there's something unconditional about how it's speaking to him. I think that to me that speaks really deeply about our relationship to the natural world and the places where, I don't know, sometimes we're surprised by or overwhelmed by a sense of something other coming at us.
I really connect with the flaming part.
Yeah, totally. We were both
like drooling,
edging
like
to be able to say that.
I was edging. We were gooning to that.
I was dangling that for you.
So any of our listener knows that I'm an atheist. I grew up in a, I don't know, passively Christian home where like you went to church sometimes, but just mostly Easter and Christmas. And I don't think anybody really believed in it, but everyone kind of followed to the kind of social, like, this is what you do. And this is what good means. And when Gavin did float this, I was a little like, because there's a part of me that's a little anti-theist. But I would say I'm mostly atheist, where like, I don't think about religion ever, unless it starts to affect my life. But I did want you on because I do, and Gavin talked you up. He loves you. He thinks you're one of the greatest things ever. And I don't normally trust Gavin.
It's mutual.
He's right on this one. But I was thinking about like, what am I curious about when it comes to like people who are on the religious side of things. And one of the things I was thinking about was how you as a person, as Steve, deal with any sort of like conflicts you have personally with what professionally you are to, because we're not talking about your individual faith. We're talking about you as a religious person leading a religious charge. And I was curious about like, let's say your religion says one thing, you feel something different. What do you do with that? And my follow-up to that question, I'm going to stop monologuing in a second, is is when you feel like somebody else religiously is not doing what they should, is there like a back channel of like you talking with other pastors or priests and trying to like Supreme Court goes to the back room to kind of argue things out? Do you guys have that? Like that's not in front of us?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm blessed to work with like really great colleagues, who are also really close friends. And so, it saves us in a way. I mean, we I don't know, we can joke about things and diffuse things in a way that, I find really, really healthy. But, David, to answer your question, I experienced a lot of that conflict, that inner conflict early in my life as a young evangelical, and found I had to go somewhere else. And the truth is, I'm in a place right now where I pretty much get to be myself, and I don't experience a conflict between my religious self and my personal self, or what I actually believe and what I have to say in the pulpit. I get to actually step into the pulpit and say what I think, and to voice some of my deeper questions, and to invite people to come along that journey with me without feeling a sense of turmoil about, as a religious professional, I have to say this or I have to do this. I'm in a situation right now where I get to be me, and that's an unbelievable gift. It's an unbelievable gift. I mean, I have occasionally, been given offers to go to other places, or at least to interview in other places, and I just go, I get to be myself here, and I don't trust that I just don't trust that that's true in a whole lot of other settings.
But I guess what I mean is broadly, like you are talking about your congregation or your particular church, and kind of you can be yourself. But I mean, like when Christianity or Methodism or whatever is publicly something that you are not. My curiosity is always in you either have to say that, oh, that's not me, I'm something different, and then you're not Christian, or you're different. Like that's where I get like really curious, because it has to come up, right? Because there are people who believe in the word for word letter of the Bible. There are people who are like, I don't know, maybe God's not real, but I'm still religious. Like there's kind of everywhere in between. And so you as a kind of a leader, how do you deal with that when Christianity does something that you're like, oh, that's not me? I'm not talking about like crusades. I'm talking about like gay marriage and, stuff like that.
Right. No, that's okay. That's a great question, and it's really helpful to frame it that way too. No, what I would say is, yeah, it does drive me crazy sometimes. There are moments when I read the New York Times, and they're right now busy profiling all of the reptilian, right-wing, often very Christian people that I find repellent. When the assumption is that is Christianity, that's who gets to speak for what this really complex religion is, it drives me up a fucking wall. And I guess what I want to come back to again and again and again is to say this isn't any one thing. And I'm a part of a branch of this tradition that is totally different, totally other, and I want to publicly get that out in the public square. There is no single thing called Christianity. There are only Christianities. It's not a monolithic thing. It's all. I mean, so anyway, I guess I just want to say they don't get to define it. It's so much bigger and so much broader. And what I do, while not as loud or as noisy, and what others like me do, is also a part of the story. Is also a part of a part of this broad fabric. So I do get very, very frustrated at what passes for Christianity in the public space, and yeah, my colleagues and I do sit in staff meetings and do bitch at each other often.
I would also add to that at the beginning of every service, there's almost like a disclaimer of saying, welcome, everybody is welcome here, and we welcome questions, and we welcome your honesty.
Yeah.
And this is this congregational church that we're a part of welcomes intellectual debate, and you're not going to be kicked out for not believing anything. You can come in dressed however you want, loving whoever you want, saying whatever you want, and dispelling the name of God. And it'd be like, well, let's sit around and talk about it.
Yeah.
Steve, so getting to the meat of the matter of why you're here, in 2025, what is the point of church? Especially for, in this frame, say, a queer family.
Yeah. Listen, it's I think it's a very, very important and valid question. And it's it's one that I think I have to talk myself into sometimes as I don't know, step into the pulpit once a week. And people have shown up, and sometimes you go, why are you here? And why are we doing this? And what do we do with this? Well, so here's what I would say. We live in a terribly lonely society, a terribly isolated society where people are kind of isolated in their little private worlds. And for me, church has been one of the places where we're invited out of that. It's been one of the places in my life where I've been invited into relationships with people across a whole wide spectrum of age groups and interest groups and backgrounds. I mean, some of them very different than my own. And that there's this kind of container that can hold us all, and that gives us a sense of community and a sense of being with one another, especially in very, very difficult times, is for me one of the major reasons I do it. But to the more pointed part of your question, why queer families? I would say that, despite the way churches have often been terrible places for queer folk, they've also been places that have been shelters. They've been places that have provided safety, and they have been places that have allowed people to be their fullest selves. I was just reading this great interview from do you all watch the show Somebody Somewhere on HBO? I freaking love it. I think it's great. It's got this anyway. So there's this actor on it, Jeff Hiller, who is playing a guy who's very gay, but he's very churchy as well. And it's a little bit based loosely on the actor Jeff Hiller's life. And he grew up in Texas, and he said, honestly, what can I say? I mean, church has been one of my safe spaces throughout my life. I guess I feel like if we can use what we have well, we can create this safe, loving, gentle, justice-oriented space for our young people that that I think can do a lot of good for us.
I just want to make sure we be honest about you were saying, yes, church has done some damage, but also it's been a safe space for other people. I would agree, but like nowhere near as much as the damage it's caused to the queer people and queer families I'm not just talking about historically, I'm talking about today. Yes. The leading religion is the leading charge for making sure families are not together, cannot be married, cannot leave the country, being deported. That is all foundationally religion. So yes, I would agree. There have been great safe spaces. There are churches like yours probably, and other places where we are like, no, we are a safe space for queer people. And that has helped, I think, but nowhere near is it comparable to the amount of damage it has done to queer people's lives and their families. And so I think there's two parts to this, right? There's do I believe in God? And so ergo, do I go into a church, right? That is kind of aside, because like, who's going to convince anybody either way? But then there's the other part, which is like, maybe I do believe in God, but I would never step foot in a church, for the safety of my child, right? Dan Savage has a great quote, which is like, if clowns raped people as much as priests, it would be illegal to go to the circus, right? Mm-hmm. So like, there's that part of it, but then there's just like the beliefs part of it. So I'm pushing back on you because I want to make sure our listener knows that like, we are not glorifying churches that are safe spaces and trying to erase all the kind of damage.
Yeah. No, thank you for saying that, and thank you for pushing that. And look, you'll find no argument from me.
Yeah,
find no argument from me on that. Every last thing that you've said there is something I agree with. So,
but I want you to argue with me about something. So I would really like to just get into it about something. I really we haven't spent much time about making fun of Gavin, so maybe we'll jump into that.
So we can do that. But let me add one more reason to this, or layer to this. There have been moments that I have wished to rid my own self of church, of my own belief. There have been moments where I've gone like, I'm not sure I want my kids to grow up with this stuff. This is my baggage, but I'm not sure I want to bring my own children into that. And the truth is, there's something about these stories and the insistence upon transcendence, the insistence upon an ethic that I haven't been able to let go of. And I can only say that might be true for some listeners as well, for some others as well. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's that's all I can say. Beyond the fact that I agree with you that there's been so much damage, I just haven't been able to let it go, and maybe that's been true for other.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a listener of this show, if you are the listener of this show, there are maybe some listener who want to go to church or do go to church. So my practical question for you is, for those queer families who maybe do want to go to church because they believe, or because like Gavin, they more want a community that they are community feeling or whatever, what would your advice be to like a queer family who is looking for a church that feels like a safe space?
Yeah. Well, I would say look for an open and affirming congregation. I mean, many congregations have gone through processes over the last 25 years that have really forced them to dig into the ways in which Christianity and the church has been awful, and to do the work of creating a different kind of community and a different kind of narrative. So it's sort of like a kind of a stamp of approval. Make sure it's an open and affirming congregation,
and not just rainbows, by the way, because we did steal that from you. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for this rainbow theft that we did. I know it was like God being like, sorry about the flood, here's a rainbow, right? Sorry about murdering everybody, but like we totally took that from you. So
and
if you see,
we're not giving it back,
and we're not giving it back. Honestly, we've kind of massacred it. We're adding all these other things, but no, don't just look for the rainbow, because that that could be Noah's rainbow.
No, you make an awesome point, but yeah, no, I mean, it's it goes beyond the rainbow, and it, I don't know, hang around long enough to go, do they mean it?
Yeah.
Kind of along the
David,
lines
what
of
would you say to that?
Oh, how to find a
Gavin's here. Sorry, I didn't see him. I didn't know he was still in the show.
That's a good question. I mean, my overall feeling still is, well, we were lucky to happen to be in a community where you already existed, so I didn't have to go searching for very far, luckily. And I don't think it's easy to, I think that our community and congregation is unique, unfortunately. It seems to me it's very New England, for one thing.
It is.
It's a congregationalist practice, so that's not necessarily a national thing, and it's rooted in, frankly, like, we're talking pilgrims, right? Which isn't necessarily like that. I wouldn't have joined this church probably in 1624
with your like buckle shoes and your little hat, and
and still flaming though,
but like working it, like walking down the runway,
and the heels,
like, and like murdering Native Americans as you were like sashaying down the runway,
sashaying in my buckled heels,
and your buckled heels
until the murder stomping. I was like, we could do a great drag show.
Yes, with like little page boy haircuts, and very cute.
Steve has actually asked me about having a drag brunch at our church, and this is what I did.
A drag brunch at your church. Oh, you would make so many people mad in the best way.
And which
maybe
is
not
exactly
at your church, maybe not at your church, but just the general church community be like, what the fuck is happening over there?
This is exactly what Steve is looking for, and I am avoiding it entirely. Because,
oh my God,
because I am who I am. Yeah. But
we can't even have them read books to children. You know what I mean? Let's like really terrify them.
In terms of though, Steve, I appreciate you bringing me into the conversation since David forgot I exist, but I really do. Regardless, it is. We've been lucky. I think that gays have to be pioneers in some ways and be like, I am going to be here. And the priority is community and connection in a world of today. And that's my main thing. That's why I'm where I am. And so if somebody in Odessa, Texas is on that search with their queer family, it's going to be a bigger challenge. But I don't know. Maybe it kind of comes down to, I wouldn't necessarily say people need to find church. What I would say is, in the words of the deity,
Madonna,
Rachel Maddow.
Yes.
In these times, you have to join something. You have to. Joining something is what will make you feel whole, and not like you're going, being driven fucking insane by the insanity that is around us right now. And
because of the powerlessness that you feel on a national scale. Somehow it's quite like that. It feels a little better to just like at least see like 20 people around you, and you're like, okay, this I can.
That we're birds of a feather.
And also just like these are people and I am people versus just like seeing these like broad things. But also, I remember in college when I was like, oh yeah, I'm an atheist. Like really kind of coming into it, be like, this is why I always felt kind of benign just sitting in church. I'm like, but I remember being like, oh, but I love having a place to go and doing volunteer. Like I was just picking and I was cherry picking, like a lot of religious people do, cherry picking a lot of the good things and putting it together and saying that that's my thing. And so I was like, does that exist? Is that a thing? And it kind of does, but it hasn't really taken on, which is called like humanism or the humanist society. I don't know how much you know about this, but I think they were trying to do this like, okay, it's like church, but like, there's no God. There's no like, we're just a community who get together maybe once a week and we do good things and we foster, inclusivity or whatever. And that is something that I like Gavin was saying that he loves about your church, is that he loves that part of it. And I agree. I would love something like that, but I don't think I would want my family in a religious version of that, but I would love, other than just like normal volunteering, I would love to have something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's probably representative of a lot of people. I'm glad to hear you would like that. I don't know.
I think people want to do good things. I really
and demonstrating, bringing the kids then into it, demonstrating that you dedicate yourself to something that's a little bigger than just your everyday consumerism.
That's right.
And it doesn't, that is, for me, that is reverence and spirituality without bringing the Bible into anything. It's just like knowing that the world is bigger and more important than you are. And I am constantly wanting my kids to just realize, hey, you're awesome and you are my entire world, but you aren't the entire world to everybody else. And
but also get out of my house. But also get out of my house. Like, also, I can't listen to you talk right now. Can you leave this house? It's like, I love you. I would throw myself in front of a bus for you. But if you say one more thing to me, I'm pushing you out the window.
So piggybacking on David's bitchiness there. And going back to
Sorry, it was a rough
Noah and the rainbows. Tell us, Steve, and this is a non sequitur rather that I didn't prep you for, but what are the other gayest part of the Bible besides just Noah and the rainbow?
Oh my God. The sandals and like the dress, like the flowy
sandals and dresses.
Stuff, you know what I mean?
Why don't we start with 12 men?
Oh, I'm listening, Steve. I'm listening.
Yes. Why don't we start with 12 men leaving their world for a while and just traveling around the countryside together, camping with one another? I mean, let your mind wander. Let your mind wander.
Whenever I would see like men's group retreats, like on the church bulletin board, I was always like,
what are they?
Is that a Gooner retreat? What is that? Like, what is that? Yeah.
Well, start there, or go to this place too. I mean, one of the highest expressions of love in Christian theology is the Trinity. It's a threesome. It's a threesome, you guys. It's a threesome. It's
I thought that was going to be a trans metaphor, but you're talking about like group sex here.
It is built into Christian theology.
Interesting.
It is there. So anyway, there are these moments throughout theology, a lot of moments, it turns out, a lot of moments throughout theology, but also in the Bible, that when you have eyes to see, you go, huh. I mean, yeah. I'm
going to make the disclaimer for all the people, even in my community, who have it out for Steve anyway, all the time, that he is just letting his mind wander here, okay? There's no reason to come at us. Him with pitchforks, you can come at us with pitchforks, fantasizing about the holy trinity of threesomes. But
well, is that true, Steve? Do you get a lot of like flack? Do you get a lot of criticism just in general because of your position or your particular way of doing things?
He's being diplomatic, and I'll say yes.
Yeah.
And what do you do with that? Do you ingest it? Does it eat at you? Are you really good at like kind of letting it go over you?
I wish I were better. No, I wish I were better at letting it go over me. No, I turn it over and over and over and over in my mind and try not to do anything stupid with it, and just try to be cool with it. But I don't have thick skin. I've gotten thicker skin, but I don't have thick skin. I get hurt. It sucks. I brace myself sometimes when there's an envelope in my mailbox at the church, and sometimes it's not addressed or there's no return address. Man, I've gotten some stink bombs, and it's like walking around a corner and somebody knifing you. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it stings and it hurts. On the other hand, like I say, I get to be who I am, and I have kept my job, and I feel like it's my responsibility to actually be out there doing stuff, saying stuff that's actually going to be useful and progressive and all that in the world. And if people have trouble with that, so be it. Yeah, so be it.
Steve is unapologetically progressive and has no problem saying it. I was talking to a friend a couple years ago, actually, who was complaining about her own church. Like, why do we go through these motions? Why am I doing this? I don't even frankly believe in what I'm doing, but I'm forcing my kids to do this. And I was like, have you thought about like coming over to my church? And she said, this person said to me, and I quote, "Oh my God, no, your pastor is in the newspaper way too much for me."
That's a badge of honor, I think.
Well, it is also that. I mean, I'm I don't know. The controversy, it stings, but I'm also like, I don't know. One of my mentors said, when the feathers fly, you hit your mark.
Yeah.
So it's
totally.
A sign that you're doing something all right and doing, I don't know.
But you're in a very emotional business, right? Like obviously like church, but also like a political leader, right? I'm sure you can be the greatest politician, you can be the greatest pastor of all time and do all the right things, and somebody's going to be pissed because there's so much emotion tied to what you do that if you just do it to the left of or to the right of what they want, does that stir up feelings? And
That's right. No, it's really, really true. And like I say, I'm blessed with the community that I have, that we have. But it comes at us sideways sometimes. So
it's funny.
Deal with it.
Steve, I don't believe Steve is ever in the news for religious talk. It's always about politics, and good for him. But maybe Gaytriarchs will be the one that changes it for him. So anyway,
may it be so. May it be so.
Local pastor talks about God threesomes on controversial podcast with one listener. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you can bump us up to 10 listeners, it will have been worth your sacrificing your reputation.
Are you kidding? No, this is like exactly where I'd want to be in the world, where I do. So if there's controversy,
you're the first person who's ever said that. That's Gavin doesn't even say that. So.
Gavin even is like,
yeah.
Get me out of here and do not attach my name to it. All right. So I am curious, wrapping it up here and bringing it back to your kids. And I've sat there wondering, what do you hope for your kids down the line on their spiritual journeys?
Yeah, man, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. I have evolved over the years. Like I say, when our kids were very, very young, I still felt more conflicted about my own relationship to Christianity, my own relationship to religion. And I kind of had this like attitude of, you know what? I don't want to burden them with this. I don't want them to, I would be pleased if they had no religion whatsoever, because this is kind of my stuff that I'm having to work through. So, if they don't go to church at all, fine by me. If they don't know these biblical stories, fine by me. And over the years, I have evolved to the point that now I'm like, but I want you to know this stuff. I guess I want you to have some kind of spirituality, something deeper than just, as you said, Gavin, I'm a consumer, or I'm trapped in my own self and my own success or pursuit of algorithm. I want them to have some kind of language that they can access the depths of the human story and the depths of the world around us, the mystery of the world. And in a way, I'm indifferent to what that language is. It doesn't matter to me if it's the language I use, which happens to be Christianity. But I want them to have some kind of language for accessing the depths. That's what I want. And I can give them the rubric, if you will, by bringing them into a church setting so that they know that the depths exist, that they're there, and that there are languages for getting at those places in human existence. And again, I think I'm indifferent. I think I'm right when I say I'm indifferent to the particular language that they use to get at the depths. Mm-hmm. But I want them to get there. That's what I want.
And if they choose Mormonism, they get their own Broadway musical. So that's kind of fun. All right. So wrapping it up, we have to. Yes. So we always ask this question as our last question, and I so thank you for being here. But we have to ask you, what is that parenting moment when everything fell apart? When did you earn your parenting merit badge?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna ask this question of you guys because
we started a podcast.
Yeah.
So we could tell these particular stories. Yes.
Oh, here was the moment it totally hit the. Oh man, it was a shit show. It was when just after our third child, Augie, had been born, we had zero money. We were driving a Honda CR-V at that point with like a kind of just one back seat. So our three kids lined up in the back seat. So we have a newborn infant. We have a 2.5-year-old Elsa. And then we have a 5-year-old Sabina. And Elsa's sitting in the middle, and she begins to think, it's really fun if I like reach up and I pull my sister's hair, and she just starts screaming, right? And so we're driving down I-91 coming back from Vermont, and it's kind of late at night. And it happens over and over and over and over again. And I feel like it's a rolling fucking hell box. I was in my own personal hell. She would not stop torturing her sister, and the screaming would not stop. And I'm in the driver's seat just boiling. And so I have to pull the car over to the side of the road, cars whizzing down beside us. And I have to pull my 2.5-year-old daughter out of the car onto the side of the road where cars are whizzing by. And I'm like, stop this. You have to stop this. And she's like, she doesn't get it. She just thinks it's... Anyway, it was hell to me. And I don't know, maybe it doesn't sound like hell to anybody else. To me, it was total hell, to the point where I sat the next day just kind of vacantly, blankly in a chair, just staring into space going, all right, there are 3 things I can do about this. I can like end my life, or I can I don't know, run away from this marriage and you know, be a single guy, or I can go get therapy.
I think every parent listening to this knows exactly what you're talking about. But I want to make sure that the quote of this episode is hell exists, and hell is the backseat of a Honda CRV, or
anywhere in that CRV right now. Yeah, holy shit. But that was where I was like, all right, look,
that blank stare you're talking about. I think every parent listening to this knows that stare where you're just staring out the window and you're like, what do I do? How do I get through this?
The homicidal feeling you feel when stuck in it, and you think nothing can be worse than this. It's a form of torture. Yeah.
Especially when your kids are young, when you're going like, this extends indefinitely in front of my horizon. Like, this is going to go on forever. It will never stop.
There is no end to this.
There is no end to this. It felt so awful. But, you know, therapy's a great thing. What can I say?
And you made it. And the kids still exist. So that's...
And they still exist, and I love them, and I'm glad for my existence.
Steve, thank you for demeaning yourself by being on our stupid little podcast and giving us so much more to figure out how to make the world a better place. Thank you, Steve.
Oh, you guys, this is awesome. I love being in conversation with you, and I feel honored to have spent this time, and I hope I didn't say anything too stupid.
I hope you didn't say anything too controversial.
Smart. I hope you didn't say anything too smart, because people expect the lowest at this podcast. We want to make sure that we give them what they want. Thank you.
Oh, man. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
So my something great this week is a perfect marriage of 2 of my favorite things. Comedy.
Wait. There's so many options for this. My 2 favorite things. Let's see.
All right, go ahead.
Wendy's shakes and porn.
First of all, they're called Frosties.
Yeah, Frosties.
Shakes, but
right.
Continue. Yeah,
Frosties and porn, not necessarily in that order or together. What other things? Driving really fast and listening to Legally Blonde and
Jen and Regret.
Let's see. Wishing you could go back to college and do it all over again and pick a completely different track in your life, so you would be living a life opposite of this right now. And abs.
Yeah. I'm so glad you interrupted me, but it was comedy and hot shirtless men.
Oh, okay.
And so those 2 don't normally go together, but I have come across this person on my FYP, which I'm sure has come across a lot of people's, and his name is @RuneDog_ first of his name.
Already funny.
It's a very long handle, but I thought about describing this on the podcast, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to describe him. He is like a really hot, kind of shirtless, hairy, muscular guy, but does this kind of like cocky, arrogant Gaston thing. But everything he's like always hitting on whoever's holding the camera, and he's saying shit that is so fucking off the wall bananas, but with this confident, like, you're gonna want to fuck me thing, and it's so fucking funny and so hot. His body is so delicious, but his stuff is so funny. And then he became huge, of course, the past couple of months. He did a collab with RuPaul. He did with RuPaul.
Okay.
He's done but I can't tell if he's really gay or not. I'm gonna go ahead and say he's not gay, because he comes across as that like straight guy who likes to play gay. But find him. He's so funny. @Rune, ROON, Rune Dog, DAWG _ first of his name. He is so funny and so hot.
I can't wait for him to be on the show and explain his handle, because that seems funny. and show all of us his abs on this audio platform. Okay, so I am also just going down the social media rabbit hole with us on Something Greats, and mine has nothing to do with hotness, but it is a dude who brings great, great joy. He is at ed.people. I am sure that I am one of 6 million people who has discovered him. I haven't discovered him. I've watched him for a long time. But he's just a guy who goes around, apparently the world, undoubtedly having everything paid for. And he just asks people, what is your favorite dance move? And he does favorite dance moves with people from absolutely everywhere in the world, from Botswana to Birmingham. And he's just this really sweet, unassuming white dude from Belgium, which when I found out he was Belgian, I'm kind of like, oh, right. Remember Belgium exists? Sometimes I forget that. I mean, aside from the whole colonialization and ruining much of Western civilization and outside of Western civilization, for that matter.
It's only in my zeitgeist because in my Dutch language courses, they often mention Belgium and Germany because they border the Netherlands.
As a joke?
I'm like, oh, Belgia. No, it's just like, hey, that's my friend Sam from Belgium. And, how do you say that?
I would imagine everybody looks down on them. The French do, by the way. The French make, instead of telling what we referred to in the 80s as Polak jokes, they make Belgian jokes. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. At ed.people is just a breath of sheer joy as he runs around making people smile and doing their favorite dance moves across the world. I highly recommend it. In this world of a dumpster fire, we all need to dance more and laugh more. And that is our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can always email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere. And Gavin is at Gavin Lodge on Dumpster Fire.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks. And we'll have a delicious Belgian waffle with you next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.